Hey, Lurk. Hey, Libra Mons. This is not like my Friday spaces, which are all kind of like massive intro lead-ons and all the rest of it. This is more about coming up and chatting and having a nice time. So anyone who wants to just come up right away and have a chat about art and the weekend, not the band, not the singer, actually this weekend, feel free to come up. Be great to hear from you. Appreciate it. Sunday. Appreciate Thread Guy just started a space about Azuki. Not sure how we're going to keep up with that because that's all anyone's talking about this weekend. But still, the purists, the art fans, the art lovers, this is where we're hanging out. Hey, Libra Mons, how you doing?
Hi everyone. Good evening.
Good day. Good
evening.
evening. I know you're nervous, right?
Yeah.
Super
nervous. Always,
dude, you
always.
mustn't be. It's cool. Like let's just have a lovely chat. There's no pressure or anything like that. Hey, Lurk, how you doing, man? Read Bonnie Pig. By the way, anyone who hasn't got a clue why whenever I speak to Lurk, I speak differently is because Lurk is from the northeast of England and so is my dad. And so they speak really funny. And so and so I know what Lurk's saying. None of anyone else will do. Geordies require subtitles. In fact, when I was in New Zealand about 15 years ago, there was a Geordie couple that had their camper van stolen, and they were interviewed by the New Zealand news, and they had to put up subtitles so that anyone could understand what the hell they were talking about. It's one of the funniest things ever. I remember, can't remember how I did it. I think I recorded it with like a phone, and this is pre-smartphones, and like sent it to my dad via MSN. Remember MSN? God. Anyway, right. So look, hey everyone. This is episode 2 of the Gallery Editions. And for those who don't know, the Gallery Editions is a second collection, and so I guess a second show under the Audio Galleries umbrella that we've put together to celebrate limited editions. So as opposed to our kind of like open edition mints, we're creating a collection of limited editions, very limited supply in each instance, sometimes just claimable to certain people, sometimes burnable with certain things. Certainly these first 4 that we've done are all burnable. And you can burn the free mint that we did back in January if you still hold any of those passes. You can burn a combination of those to receive the artworks that we've launched with, and in time, some to purchase. And we're working with artists. We're commissioning some of the works. It's just about having a really nice time. I was speaking to a number of artists who were, not comfortable creating large open edition collections. They want to maintain like smaller, limited editions and keep control of their work in that manner. And so, yeah, that's the reason we did this. And we thought it would just be a really cool way to have more conversations about art. It's a bit more relaxed because there's no like live mint. And it's a great opportunity to talk to some fantastic artists about their work and their process and all of those things. So if you want more information, Sigrid is amazing and already ahead of me and has already pinned 2 tweets to let you know all about the gallery editions. Please do check those out, get involved. And as I said, if you minted early on for free, those passes are now going to be used for this. So that's wonderful. Okay, so another thing, very, very quickly. Lovely to see Karen in the audience. Hey, Karen. Our mint Goofballs is still live. Went live on Friday. We had a fantastic conversation with Karen, who was lots of fun, very charming, very, very funny. And let's see, how many are we at right now? Goofballs is 399. Come on, somebody. Somebody needs to go in and buy number 400 during the show. But yes, go to OpenSea.io. It's on the front page under notable collections. It's a very, very cool, funny, quirky, nostalgic collection. Every trait hand sculpted and painted and then photographed by Karen out of clay. It's, a riot. So please do go and check that out. It's live for like just under 24 hours now, like 22 and a half hours. So please go check it out. Okay, let's get going. Sigrid, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine.
Good.
But Ben, what happened with your voice in the last days?
Oh, can you tell that I might have been... I went out yesterday. I went to the horse racing. I went to Royal Ascot and saw the king. But I drank lots of gin, cocktails, and punch, and what's that stuff with all the fruit in it? Pims. I drank loads of Pims, and I smoked a cigar. Ugh. I don't know what I was thinking. We won some money. The last race came in. Can you believe it? I'd lost money all the way through, and then the last race, I won like a few £100, and it covered my day. And so I was like, yes. So I spent all of that £300 on drinking cigars, and it was fun. But so yeah, I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. Got in late last night. Slept in a hotel, and hotels suck, don't they? They're aircon, and I always get a bit hoarse. So yeah, came back today, sat in the paddling pool. It's boiling hot here in the UK still, which is lovely. And then just got ready to...
go on. I think in the whole Europe, it's bloody hot.
Yeah, it's warm, isn't it?
Let's enjoy it.
I agree. I never complain about the heat. I love it. It's my favorite. Anyway, right. Moving into our show today. If you would all so kindly go to the first pinned tweet, and maybe retweet this space, it would be cool to try and corral a few extra heads in here, let them know that we're having a nice conversation. But I am going to introduce our two artists. So we have two wonderful artists, two very different styles. So first I'm going to introduce Libra Mons. So Libra Mons is Slovakian. He is a wonderful, skillful artist. He produces wonderful landscapes through this process called monochrome stippling. I think that's the right term. You can forgive me if I'm wrong. Libra Mons will correct me in a moment. Essentially, all of his pieces are kind of like tiny dots that then make up the image, and they are stunning. He has a small collection at the moment called The Souls, which are releasing one per week. And they are also associated with his wonderful fine art Pepes or something. I can't remember. Libra Mons, you're going to have to correct me in a minute. But they are lots of fun, beautiful. I've collected a couple of bits of the work. It's a stunning collection. Hey, Libra Mons, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, I want to get the 400th piece from Karen, but I'm away from the computer side. I can't do it because I went outside because I can't do it inside the house with all my family watching me. So,
well, I'm sure. Well, it might have already gone by the time you get back. But
never mind then.
But it is a great collection. But it's so monochrome stippling. Is that right?
Yes, correct. I think the official term will be pointillism.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, the work you're doing is stippling, so basically doing the dots on paper.
Yeah.
They are very, very tiny dots. And
well, it's fantastic. We'll talk a little bit about it in a minute. I'm going to bring Lurk up in a moment as well. I think it'd be cool if I interview you both together as opposed to like making one of you wait and doing it that way. So, Lurk loves you. Lurk, born near the ice wall. I love this as a bio. Young Lurk found a bleak environment needed a little color and creativity to make it bearable in the most harsh times. So Lurk is a wonderful artist, illustrator, creates very bright, vibrant, monster-like characters and other artworks. Now a Canadian citizen. Congratulations, Lurk. That was like last week, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Wow.
just became a Canadian. So I've been here for 23 years, and I finally got my Canadian citizenship. I just I'd put it off and put it off and put it off, and then I did it. But I'm still a dual citizen, so that's kind of cool. I got British and
Perfect
Canadian citizenship now.
Perfect. Well, congratulations. How would you describe yourself as an artist, Lurk?
Useless.
Lurk is also a real piss taker, which is great, and I think this is going to be quite challenging today. But
I mean, you'll probably get a straight answer out of me at some point.
Okay.
But, how would I describe myself as an artist? I don't know, man. Like, I'm just doing my thing, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just alive. You know.
I love it. And like, you know, your art essentially, like, let's talk about your artwork pre-Web3, and then let's talk about it afterwards. Let's do it in that order. Like, what's your origin story in terms of, like, you know, becoming an artist? What route have you taken to get where you are today?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was living with my Auntie June, and I went on this big exhibition. Like, it was this big science fair, and they had lots of different, like, things going on there. And there was this whole thing about I was, like, pretty young. There was this whole thing about art and science, and, like, how we can use the quantum realm and all these different things to involve yourself in, you know, color and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, while I'm watching that, this radioactive paintbrush bit me, and then I woke up the next day and I had superpowers. So
shit, that sounds amazing. But you do know that with great power comes great responsibility, Lurk.
Aye, lad.
Libra Mons, how about you? Talk to me about your road to becoming an artist and this incredible style you've got, because you talk about this as being kind of like meditative, right?
Yes, correct. I think I'm a young artist, so not by age, but like I started only a few years ago, and that was thanks to my daughter, because she draws all the time since she was born. She's 11 now, but that time she was about 8, and I was just trying to figure out something, and I was drawing something on the table. That was through the pandemic, and she told me, "Oh, you should be an artist. You should draw more." And she was the biggest supporter at that time, and then obviously my wife and family. But it started with her, and I was drawn to the pointillism straight away, because kind of it took me straight away, and I didn't stop since then, really. So
that's amazing, and I can't believe this is like such a new thing for you, because to look at your work, and particularly the piece that you created for us, I mean, all of your souls are incredible, but the piece that you've created for us, let's zoom in on it a moment. So it's just so beautifully put together, but it feels like so cultured, I guess. It feels like something that you've refined over many, many years. Talk to us then about your process. I guess the best way for some people to look, in fact, no, look at that. Sigrid's actually been pinning as we go. I should just look at my phone, shouldn't I, while we're talking, and then I would know. People, have a look at the work, and while you're looking at it, Libra Mons, tell us a little bit about, like, your process in terms of creation.
So I got 2 different ways, because I started with physical pieces with ink and paper first few years for the pandemic, and then lately with souls and the piece that's above, that's digital. So I created my own brush on Procreate and scanned the paper I'm using for physical art and put it in as a background, so it has still the same feel as the physical work. And yeah, that piece there is about, you can see the description, is about the old coin season, or meme coin season, which is probably over by now, isn't it? Don't know if how relevant the piece is right now, but yeah, so it's about how everybody kind of wanted a little piece of the whole cake, you know, like get some coins, or they were scared to get some, or they wanted but they couldn't, and they feel the FOMO about not getting some. And yeah, like, you approached me if I can do some piece for you, like for this edition for audio galleries, and I came up with that.
It's really nice. It's a beautiful piece, and I love the fact that you you really have kind of like bridged your web to, well, I guess your physical and your digital work by actually like creating backgrounds through scanning your paper and all of those different kind of things. So you're able to create something digitally that really closely replicates what you're creating physically. I think it's a great call. Look, come on then. What's your process?
So back in the day, it was just painting. Obviously, I learned how to paint by painting Warhammer figures.
Oh,
That's
really?
That's how
the
I learned
little
how to
lead
paint.
figure things. Oh,
so
yeah.
I was painting things 3D first, like, actual little toys. And I guess, like back in the day, the Airfix, model tanks and model airplanes from the Second World War, man, I was all about that. So I was painting those. So I think like I think I tried to paint, but trying to paint on any sort of flat surface to create a 3D image per se is like, it's fucking hard, man. Like, it's just really hard to pull that straight out of your brain, and the techniques that you need to use to even get there, it's crazy, right? So I mean, Libra Mons as well, like mad love for what you're doing. If you haven't been doing it that long, like, you could have fooled me, man. Like,
that's what I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like back in the 80s, right? And then you know what else I was painting? I used to do copies of Iron Maiden album covers.
Yes.
I used to do a little bit of Eddie, I used to try and do like that with oil paint. I was useless at it. I also painted a Guns and a Roses on an old secondhand guitar. That was pretty cool.
Love it.
Anyway, so I go back. I got a scar for that. Like, I mean, I'm into art. I'm doing art. My mom was a bit of an artist. She'd gone to college a little bit to do art, and she kind of inspired me. So yeah, I went to college and I learned all my techniques that way. I started actually like really hunkering down. I did about 4 years of schooling, and really started refining techniques that worked for me. And mainly it was just acrylic at first, and really expanding on my imagination. And I think a lot of my imagination, not unlike what Karen was talking about, comes from that era that we're from, right? Like Monsters, He-Man, like all those different like cool cartoons, Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, like all that stuff. But then I had this really cool like mix of being into like skateboarding. So I got that like 80s neon skateboard mix, and that's kind of how you get my characters, really, at the end of the day. Is like, it's just a mix of these two things, right? And yeah, so I mean, most of my techniques have just been learned through school, man. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just taken like me, instead, not like Libra Mons, it's taken me like 30 years to get any good at
it. What?
I mean, I've been doing art shows since the 90s, but I'm not saying they were good, like,
Well, I think your work's amazing. Talk to us then about your piece, about the new old trickster.
Yeah, so I kind of like to take the piss, like you've said, like we know, and not taking ourselves too serious is a little bit important, especially in this space. And I think the seriousness of this space really, really went into some sort of void with the whole, like, the amount of money that we were all making there for a while back. And it's like, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we all got a little bit crazy, didn't we? So
a bit carried away.
Yeah, a bit carried away, right? So I wanted to create a piece that brought a bit of tongue-in-cheek fun back to the fact, what are we doing sometimes? It's crazy, isn't it? So I wanted to have a piece that represented the fact that we all just did a bunch of different creatures. Like, everybody had to have a creature, right? Like, everybody had to have, it was an ape, it was a bunny, it was a monkey, so I wanted to create a creature that looks like it's just been through a machine that's, put them all together, kind of thing. There's actually a lot of symbolism in my pieces. It's normally simple symbolism, but when it's explained, it's pretty simple. There's a moon in the background, right above the Wagme. And if you look at that moon, it has a crater on it that looks like an asshole, because I felt like an asshole every time I said we're going to the moon. So there's a rocket on the back as well, and it says to the moon. Not sure if anybody knows much about physics at all, but you can't really fly to the moon with a rocket on your back, but we all believed we could, didn't we? It's farting the GM. And I think it's because, let's face it, we all roll over in the morning and rip a fart and then GM on our Twitter. It's got the punk rock bracelet from the 80s, a classic punk bracelet, right? And I think it's because at the end of the day, like, we are kind of a little bit punk rock. The skull basically represents the fact that we're all in this till death, apparently. I mean, I've signed some sort of blood pact that I didn't know about. It has a manticore tail. Manticore just again thrown back to like the whole idea of mythical creatures, and the NFTs themselves became mythical creatures almost. Did anybody notice that? It's like, it's almost like they became this mythical fucking thing. And it's just a JPEG, right? And it's like this weird. We've really, like, in an awesome way, created this really cool like whole world for ourselves. And then the characters wearing rose-colored glasses. I mean, that needs no real explanation. There's an Ethereum crystal kind of on a stick, making it look all kind of magical as well. There's a lot of magic. I think a lot of us believe in some sort of technological magic sometimes. It's kind of interesting. It's got the Pepe, because just at the time I thought I was going to become a millionaire when I drew this a few weeks ago, and turns out that didn't work. So I'm not into frogs anymore, I guess.
Back to the drawing board.
And then and then the background's an alien world kind of thing, including the plant life. We're in a very alien world right now with everything. And I put a chromey squiggles in there just because it fit.
I love the squiggles. I've looked very, very deeply at this piece, but I'd never seen the arsehole on the moon. I'll be honest. I'd seen everything else you've said.
And I put the rainbow in the beard because I felt this was finally felt like it was a really cool space for everybody to feel included. Now, don't get me wrong. Still not enough inclusion for everybody, but I felt like there was a moment there I felt it was a step in the right direction for people from all over the place, so I wanted to have a nice little rainbow in there as well.
I love it.
And that was kind of important to me. And other than that, it's just one of my characters, right? I mean, like, this is kind of what they look like. Who knows where they come from? I don't dream, which is weird. Everyone's like, oh, you must dream of weird things. I'm like, nah, I don't really dream, to be honest. So I think that I've either got to up my medication or get off of it or something. I don't know what's happening.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and it's fantastic. Like, I genuinely believe, like, I love it. When I asked you if you would be up for doing one of these for us, I didn't know what would come back. And also, like, one of the things that we haven't shared yet, and I'm going to share it tomorrow, I think, on Twitter when there are more people around, is you sent me also like what would you call it? Like a time-lapse video of you actually putting this piece together, and the kind of like the way you layer up your drawings, which is fantastic. Like, that process, how long does that kind of thing take you to do? Not creating the video, like to actually start with your sketch. Because it's amazing video.
I can give you the exact time. There's a nice little feature of Procreate is it kind of actually tells you the exact amount of time that you've spent on the piece.
That is cool.
This one was 6 hours and 3 minutes.
There you are. 6 hours and 3 minutes.
The longest I've ever spent in a piece is 60 hours. And that still hasn't been released yet. It's sitting on my hard drive. Not many people have seen it. I'll send you a sneak peek of it. Ooh. It is the most involved, huge piece I've ever done with tiny, tiny little characters. It's like, imagine Where's Waldo, but with Lurk. It's kind of that.
Wow. That sounds amazing. What are you saving it for? Are you saving it for when things are better again?
Yeah. I'm saving for when, because like I can't sell stuff for, like, you know what I mean? Like, I charge $150 an hour roughly, so it's like I can't really be selling things.
No, for 60 hours worth. You can't sell that for $0.01. I agree.
It's got to be sold for the right amount of money, and like it's not just about money. But I can always say to people, "Oh, it's not about the money. It's not about the money." Well, my mortgage doesn't care about that, does it?
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree, and this is why we set audio galleries up. I felt bad asking people to keep coming on Spaces for free. I was like, "Fuck, I can't keep doing it. I can't keep hosting Spaces for free. Like, because as a self-employed consultant, we're going to get all serious now, but as like a self-employed consultant, like, time is my commodity. So I was just thinking, I really love this space. I really love talking about these things. What can I do that means I can do what I enjoy doing and make some money out of it and make sure that the people that contribute and help me do it also get paid? And I was like, okay, yeah, we can mint while we host. Like that's a way to do it. And so it's been amazing. Like, with the money the revenue we're currently making on Karen's Mint too, like we're pushing close towards $200,000 as share of revenue for 16 artists, which is just, I'm so proud of it. Like, I'm so proud of that, and the fact that the community have all totally bought into the idea of like, just like almost like football stickers or like collecting cards, like Pokemon cards. Like we've just got this really neat hardcore in the community who just want to collect one of every piece. It's so fantastic.
How come you only paid me 10 quid then?
Shut up.
I'm kidding, everybody.
Well, but it's a lot of fun. Before Doug, I'm going to let you speak in a moment, but before that, I just want to ask Libra Mons, like, what does it mean to you now then, after 3 years of kind of like getting into this, that you're now starting to get great praise, rightly so, and starting to kind of put together this collection and really, I mean, I don't know if you're there yet, but I certainly look at you and think there's an amazing artist. And you strike me as being very humble, and you probably aren't even at the stage yet where you call yourself an artist when you absolutely should. But like, what's it like now moving into this kind of like space and really starting to kind of accept and believe that like this is what you are doing?
It's still very difficult to call myself an artist. Like if somebody asks me, so what do you do? Because currently I'm unemployed, and if somebody asks me, so what do you do? I'm like, I'm an artist. Artist, yeah. So yeah, it's very difficult to say for me still because I'm not making a living from it yet. So yeah, there is some like going around, but it's not enough to do things and like have living life properly. But yeah, it's getting better. Like when I started, it was just fun. It still was fun. I still love it. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. I'm not planning to stop. But yeah, it's a strange feeling when somebody like says nice things about my work or about me. I'm very hard to take compliments. So I'm still learning about being an artist, learning about taking the praise, and yeah, it's a strange one.
Well, you're doing amazingly, and I assume you're enjoying it though, right? The whole process of creating and releasing work and getting feedback on it and those different things. Like you're enjoying it as a process.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the process, like as I told you, it's a kind of meditation. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's like when I'm drawing or when I'm like inside it, like in this what was the word? I forgot the word. In the zone. When I'm in the zone, I don't think about anything else, just that. So it kind of can turn off my mind and just doing that one thing. So it kind of like calms my mind. So yeah, I would say it's a meditation.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And really quickly, both of you, and maybe Libra Mons go first, and then Lurk. Like, what are your plans for the future, like in terms of creating and Web3? Have you got immediate plans to do anything new and exciting, or are you kind of like just on the treadmill, chipping away and building up your brand and your portfolio? Like, what's on the horizon? Go first, Libra Mons.
My plan is to work on the Souls like art series, which I still got like probably 10 months to do of those. So that's my near future plan, just working on Souls. And I don't know what will happen in a year time when I finish the Souls. I might continue, or it will change. I will change direction slightly. I don't know. I will decide closer to the finish line, basically.
Amazing. And Lurk, what's your plan? What's going on?
I've got to paint the front deck, mate. I just washed it this morning. I realized it's kind of chipping away a bit, and I do like painting decks, though. No, I've got a couple of things that are like NDA right now, but basically I'm doing some animation in the video game industry.
Oh, cool!
I had to learn with help with my friend Hood Van Gogh. I had to learn how to do After Effects, which, if anybody's ever tried before, is like learning a completely alien language. So I've been hitting up After Effects using that. I've done 2 animations so far, and there's one more to come. I just can't really say much more than that. And the other thing I'm under NDA for is there's a big project that's getting worked on that's got a comic book that is being released with it, and I think they're pitching a show to Netflix. I'm doing some work for that.
Wow.
For myself, I have pretty much 2 PFP projects in the can, ready to go, just for when they need to be released. The idea with these PFP projects is, especially for one of them, is I'm going to be very transparent about the fact that if you buy this, all you're really doing is, it's more like a what you call that? Not a Kickstarter, but like a like a GoFundMe. But what's the other name for that stuff? You know, when people are just basically supporting you as an artist, right? They're just saying like, we're buying these, and I'm saying to them, cool. When you buy these, what that's going to allow me to do is pay for all these things I want to do for an art show. Basically, I want to make 10 to 15 foot tall flat Lurk cutouts out of wood and paint them.
Oh, wow.
And do a whole experience with like lights, and I'm going to play some music, which I'm not very good at, but that's going to make it even better. And it's just going to be like less have things for sale and more just for the experience.
I think that's awesome.
Something like that might cost me like 30, 40, 50 grand to put together, right? So I'm going to try to release a project and say to people, hey, when you buy this project, this is what it goes towards. So it's really transparent, right? Other than that, I mean, like I've said, I've got these one-on-ones that one of them took me 60 hours. There's a bunch of different ones. Some of them didn't take quite as long as the 60-hour one. I'm hoping to actually get on a better platform for those, like something like Super Rare, something like that. But I'm just too lazy to make a video for them, to be honest. So that's probably my fault, isn't it? But so I've got all these things going on. Like, I'm busy, you know what I mean? And I think it's really good to be busy. And I think it's really good not to take it all too serious and just try to have fun with it. And that's, my artwork's supposed to be fun. So if I came across it like really serious, I think that would be the worst. Now, I am a serious businessman. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing this for, 30 years almost. But I like to have a lot of fun with it though, man. You know what I mean?
100%. I think that really comes across in your interview style, but also in your work. And it's been fantastic, like getting to know you the last couple of months, and having a piece of your work in this collection so early on. In fact, both of you having work in this collection so early on has just been a real privilege, genuinely. And
Thanks,
that'll be the last most serious thing I'll ever say to you. But it's honestly it is. I'm really, really proud already of just the 4 pieces in the collection, and it'll soon be many, many more pieces. And we've got some mega artists who are chipping away at the moment, putting together their work so that we can release it soon. So yes, lots of fun. Thank you so much for coming up and chatting. Hey Doug, how you doing?
Hey, good morning everyone. How's it going?
GM, good morning.
Hiya, Doug.
Hey Lurk, how's it going?
I'm all right, man.
Awesome. I love your piece. I just wanted to jump up and actually just say I love both pieces, and super happy to see both of them. And really the message though, because like this is something that me and my team, we've been thinking a lot about, is like these messages of like, to the moon, and we're all going to make it. And these kind of like really overhyped promises in a way, because sometimes it is like, as projects present these as like almost like promises. And I was really deliberate and careful from the very beginning, way back with the first drop of Toy Boogers, that this is art, the utility is art, it's fun, there's probably going to be some other things coming down, but like really you're buying art. And I love that message, and we we had a lot of fun with it lately. And your piece actually reminded me of all this ridiculous stuff we were doing in our Hamster Blizzard event a few months ago, where we were like making fun of people about like the hype. And so we were like, hype doesn't power the hyperdrive. We had like these different slogans. FOMO is the dark side, and sprint projects are rugs, not magic carpets. And so we had all these like funny quotes, and I had them like loosely being quoted by a book called The Delusions of Grandeur, because it's like people come into this space thinking like, they're going to buy a PFP, and all of a sudden, they're going to have generational wealth forever. And the crazy thing is that that did actually happen to some people who bought, apes in the beginning, but it's such a misleading way to lead people, I think, into the space, and as a project founder. And I'm just happy to see people speaking out it and making art about it, and in a fun, ridiculous way, because I think that's sometimes how we get serious points across is through ridiculousness. And I'm definitely a fan of that style. And half of the things that I say, like seriously, I totally say them, with a ridiculous hamster doing something funny, but it gets the point across. And so I just wanted to commend you and Libra for for both presenting this, because Libras is also like, the gambling of meme coins, and a lot like we really have to be honest. There's a lot of degenerate gambling that happens in the guise of like some sort of informed investing in the Web3. And I think it's on so many levels, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And so I just love seeing you have fun with it. I know this is kind of a long spiel, but I think it's really important for the space. And I love to see the message. And I'm happy to say I did get a piece of both of these pieces. So I'm a holder of both of them, and they're going nowhere. Yes. So cheers, and thank you for making such cool art and putting these messages out, because they're important. And I think when the next bull run comes, because it comes, everything's a cycle. We, all of us founders and artists and people who've been in here just for a while, whether you're just a collector or whatever, like we will now have a responsibility to share this message and keep repeating it even more when the hype comes back and things start to go nuts, and use that responsibly. And I love how you said, like, you have a project where it's literally, you're going to be very clear up front, like, this is supporting me to do more stuff. And so I love that. Just wanted to commend you and shout out the art. I love it. And say GM to everyone. So
thanks, Doug.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice one. I agree. And like, we've always tried to do it with audio galleries too. Like, we've been really clear, that we're running. All I've ever done is create Series 1 Mint Pass. And that was because at some point when Series 1 finishes, I want to be able to consider what we're going to do next, as opposed to everyone saying, well, I bought the token, so what's coming now? We're like, what now? So that's kind of like always been the way. And by doing that, and by creating and building responsibly like that, like, we're actually in a position that Series 2 is going to be really, really exciting, what we're doing, but it's entirely on our terms. Like, we're not being forced to tell people what's coming next. And I love the way you kind of like, Lurk, I love the way you talk about that kind of crowdfunding element of things. I think that's really important. I think that's a lot of what Web3 can be good for, right? It's like, I'm quite good at some things and I'd like to do them. And if you enjoy them, then you can buy one of these things for not too much money. And if enough of you do it, that will allow me to do some of the cool stuff that I'm good at. Like, I just think that's a really cool use case for Web3, full stop. And I hope people start to realize that's kind of what it's all about. Yeah. Does anyone else want to come up? Feel free to pop up and say hello. I'm going to invite Karen up if she's available. Karen, if you're not available, just give me like a little thumbs down, because I totally understand. And also, if anyone else wants to come up and say hello, please do come and say hello. But I guess I want to thank Lurk personally. I want to thank Libra Mons for coming in. Really, really appreciate your work. Anyone who has listened to this and is now thinking, well, how would I get involved in the gallery editions, that you can come to our Discord in Audio Galleries. Ask either me or Sigrid a question, and we're happy to kind of like point you in the right direction. That would be marvelous. And Karen's come up. Hey, Karen.
Hey, just want to say, obviously I love all of you, love Lurk and Libra Mons. It's funny because, like, we all started in the same place, and I feel like we're all kind of going, like, reconvening in the past, like, few months. It's kind of like we're all on Clubhouse, someone dropped a bomb, we all scattered to Twitter Spaces, but now we're, like, coming back out of the woodwork here, which is amazing to see. But yeah, so am I missing where to mint these pieces? Am I that brain dead?
You can't. No, you're not brain dead at all. I've not explained it very well. You can't mint them as such. So if you go to the Audio Galleries website, which is audiogalleries.io, there are 4 links that have the 4 artworks, and they take you through to each of them takes you through to a manifold page. But what we wanted to do first of all, before we release these for purchase, because that's what we will do down the line, is we had this pass number 1, it was called. We've now called it the Gallery Pass, which was the free mint that I did back in January. And then people were able to mint 5 of them. And they had to burn 3 of their 5 to create a mint pass. And that meant they all had kind of 2 left. And so I've always said, well, we'll do something cool with those extra ones at some stage. And so before we got to the way of saying like, oh, we've got these limited edition pieces out now and you can mint them for a fee, I just figured it would be nice, first of all, to say to the existing community, hey, if you've still got your 2 passes or you've gone into OpenSea and picked up any more of them, you can now burn them for some of this cool artwork for free. I just wanted to reward the community before I then like unleashed it to the rest of the world and shilled the shit out of it to everyone who would listen. So I just thought, first of all, it'd be a nice thing to do that way around. And so that's how you get them. Go to audiogalleries.io. You'll see which pass it is that you need to buy, or come to our Discord, Audio Galleries Discord, and we can point you in the right direction.
Yes, thank you.
No worries. How are you feeling though after 48 hours of minting and almost being at 400?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's it's the grind, but
yeah, you are at 400 now. 400 just got minted.
I saw that. I've been looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's funny because like, obviously we generated more, but kind of to go with like what Doug and Lurk were saying, it's almost like at the beginning we had like this really weird skewed view of like what we were supposed to do and what we were supposed to do with our art, and I'm sure people are looking. I mean, I don't think too many people know like how many we actually generated. I didn't really say it to anyone, but I'm sure some people are probably looking and thinking like, "Oh, those are low numbers," which is crazy. You know what I mean? I guess for me, like, I don't get stressed out about it because, and I've said this before, like, my Web 2 life was nothing like it is now. Like, on my worst day in the Web 3 space, I would take that over my best day in Web 2. And, it just like I've had like a lot of great opportunities in this space, like even though it can be like frustrating sometimes. And so yeah, like it doesn't really like stress me out or anything. And kind of like what Doug was talking about, like being a founder of a project and whatnot, it's like it's gotten to this crazy point where it's like I just want to be like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm glad to be like in spaces like this where people get it. It's like, okay, I don't want to make artwork and then it's like, then later on you get a vial of my blood. I'll do a flip in a pool and break my neck for you. And like, it's like, like whatever happened, I always just compare it to like whatever happened to like when people buy an album, like they're not going to the band, they're like, what do I get for buying this album? It's like, you get the enjoyment of listening to it. It's like, so it's kind of crazy that the space is kind of, it's I just love coming in here and seeing like all the familiar faces, and we all kind of have like that same vibe and that same like, yeah, I just want to collect your work because it brings me enjoyment or it freaks me out or whatever. And so,
and I want to support what you're doing, right? I think so too.
Exactly.
I'm curious, Karen, are there any unminted traits yet? So have you still got, if you've gone through, you can, I don't know how many like backgrounds, for example, you had, and how many.
I've been looking,
because it would be nice to have like one of everything, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any unminted. For a while, I was like, oh, I did like a pumpkin head, and I didn't see any, but I did see a couple.
I've got a pumpkin head.
Oh, do you? Yeah,
I love it.
I haven't seen a ton of those, but no, I think I should probably just go in my basement and do. I have like all the legit inventory like in boxes and just like look at it, but no, I think pretty much everything's been minted. I could be wrong, but...
Well, I hope so. And Karen, I also happen to know that it's your bloody birthday today. So happy birthday. Many happy
birthday.
Oh, what?
Just
happy birthday, Kaza.
Thank you. Just getting more into that boomer. I love that conversation we have going on about like AOL and Netscape.
Yeah.
Whatever.
LimeWire.
Yeah, exactly. Ren down there mentioned I think it was ICQ. I was like, oh my god, I started like tweaking out over that. I was like, I haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, we're all old and gonna die soon. That's the topic.
I love it. Well, look, Karen, thank you so much for popping up. Go have a birthday and stop being in spaces. Go do nice things.
Hey, Ben, do you mind if I jump in real quick?
Of course not, man. Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing interesting too about like what Karen was saying about like giving back to the community and giving more. Everything she said also needs to be understood in the fact that she has given back a lot, and so has Lurk, and so have I, and so have you for Audio Galleries. Like I think all of us have actually really given free art, so much free art to our holders and collectors and fans through airdrops and other things. And so it's not that we don't do that, but there's this unrealistic demand of founders to somehow magically make numbers go up. And it's so separate from the work and the sincerity and the intention that many of us put into our art. And it's completely out of our control on that end of it, but everybody on stage I know is so sincere in giving back and providing value and just making the community happy and making their fans happy. But we can only do so much. We're not magical beings that can make numbers do fancy things. So I just wanted to say that because I've gotten I have everybody's work and my wallet's filled with airdrops from everybody and beautiful art that I love. And so I just wanted to say that we're not ignoring it, but it's a different spin on it.
Yeah, I think so. It's really, they're really important points, and I think again, it's about intention. And I think that's one of the things that Karen points out here is that we are really fortunate in the sense that I think there's this, I'm not going to call it a clique because that would suggest that like we're mean and we bully people and stuff, and that's certainly not the case. But there's this really nice little group of people now that's starting to congregate around the spaces, and I think starting to welcome additional people in, and they're good people to like be creative with or to help onboard people or to ask questions. Like I feel like there's this real nice core of people who are just here for all the right reasons. And I guess we've been able to find them now because, well, everyone else is fucked off. everyone else is gone. And so I'm really grateful that there are now so many people in this space that I can genuinely like speak to and call on like friends, like good friends. And so that's what we want to build. Like, let's bring more people into this community, and it's a community made up of many communities that we all seem to be nurturing. And if we can pull more people in and find people that have got the same intentions, then I think we'll all be okay. Anyway, right. Well, look, on that, it's Sunday. I've kept you all up for long enough. Elton's coming on in a minute, and I am very tired. So I bid you all adieu. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you all this week. Take it easy, everyone.
Later.
Bye. This is Audio Galleries. Conversations